Most of you probably know that Russia shot down a civilian airliner a few days ago, killing 38 people. And this is the third airline Russia has shot down after Korean Air Flight 007 in 1983 and Malaysia Airline Flight 17 in 2014. Two of those took place on Putin's watch. Well, now it seems Vladimir Putin is scrambling to control the fallout from what looks like a catastrophic mistake by Russian air defenses. On December 25th, an Azerbaijan Airlines passenger plane was reportedly shot down by Russian forces, crashing in Kazakhstan. Cut to earlier today, Putin reached out to Azerbaijan's President Ilham Aliyev, likely in an attempt to smooth over tensions. According to the Kremlin's version of events, Putin expressed regret for the, quote, tragic incident and blamed it on the plane's attempt to land at Grozny during a time when Russian air defenses were busy targeting Ukrainian drones. Notably, the Kremlin avoided outright admitting that Russian forces were responsible for shooting down the plane. Azerbaijan's account of the call was more straightforward. It stated that Putin apologized for the plane being hit by, quote, an external impact in Russian airspace leading to the crash. Azerbaijan also pointed to evidence such as holes in the plane's fuselage and survivor testimonies about foreign particles piercing the cabin. However, even their version stopped short of directly accusing Russia of shooting down the plane. Now, this difference in narratives suggests that Azerbaijan isn't satisfied with Moscow's half-hearted explanation and evasive behavior, but aren't willing to overtly place blame on the Kremlin. However, Azerbaijan has put forward demands to Russia. They want Russia to admit guilt for shooting down the plane over Grozny, issue an official apology, punish those responsible, and provide compensation to Azerbaijan and the victims. We'll see how Putin responds to that, because as you remember, he hasn't even fully admitted that this was Russia's fault. Now, on the same day, Putin also called Kazakh President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, probably to coordinate how the crash investigation in Kazakhstan will portray Russia's role. Both sides exchanged condolences for the victims, but the focus was on the Kazakh investigation team, which includes Russian, Azerbaijani, and Brazilian specialists. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov also called his Azerbaijani counterpart, emphasizing the need to determine the cause of the crash and prevent similar incidents in the future. It's worth noting, however, that Russia reportedly refused to let the plane land at its airports, despite the crew asking for emergency landing locations in Grozny after being shot. Meanwhile, U.S. intelligence sources believe the Russian air defenses likely mistook the Azerbaijani airline for a Ukrainian drone, partly due to the irregular flight path. There's also chatter from Russian insiders suggesting that advanced air defense systems, including S-300 units, were recently deployed after being moved from Syria. Whether these systems were involved in the incident remains unclear, but the circumstantial evidence doesn't paint a flattering picture of Russian competence or responsibility at this point. Overall, Putin's effort to spin the situation seems more like damage control than genuine accountability. He seems to want to control the investigation, and conflicting accounts, evasive statements, and mounting evidence suggest a troubling pattern once again emerging, similar to the one we saw with the Malaysian flight. Russia would rather deflect blame than confront the consequences of its actions at this point. We'll see how the investigation turns out, but with Russia involved, I'm not optimistic we'll get a complete and truthful picture.